You select Cancel, but the subscription does not close. Instead, a new screen appears. It may offer a pause, a different plan, a discount, or another reason to stay. The choice that looked final has opened another part of the journey. That difference is the subject of this video, the cancellation save offer flow. The visible action is simple. A subscriber decides to leave and selects Cancel, but inside the interface, that first action may only begin the exit process. The account remains active until the user reaches a separate completion step. This creates two different meanings for the word cancel. One meaning is intention. The subscriber has chosen to leave. The other meaning is system state. The cancellation has been completed and recorded. Between those two states, the interface may insert one or more retention choices. That is the primary mechanism. The journey does not move directly from cancel selected to cancellation complete. It opens an intermediate decision layer. The subscriber may be shown a temporary pause, a price-related offer, a plan change, a reminder of current benefits, or a confirmation path that continues the cancellation. These options are not all the same. A pause keeps the relationship active while temporarily changing billing or access. A plan change keeps the subscription but changes its terms. A discount keeps the subscription under a different price condition. Continuing cancellation moves toward the final account close state. From the provider's perspective, this intermediate layer creates a chance to separate temporary objections from permanent decisions. A subscriber may be leaving because the service is too expensive this month, because it is not being used, or because the timing is inconvenient. A pause, lower price, or different plan may resolve that objection without ending the relationship. That can reduce avoidable churn. But the same structure also changes the user's task. The task is no longer only to cancel. The user must now interpret a new set of choices and identify which one is optional and which one actually completes the exit. That distinction is easy to miss because every screen appears inside the same cancellation journey. A button may say pause. Another may say keep membership. Another may say continue cancellation. A final action may say, finish cancellation. All of them appear after the user has already selected cancel, but only one path reaches the final cancellation state. This is where the friction enters the journey. The friction is not simply the number of screens. It is the addition of new decisions after the original decision has already been made. The subscriber began with one objective: end the subscription. The interface introduces a second decision. Choose whether one of the alternatives is better than leaving. Then it may introduce a third. Confirm the original decision again. Each layer can be understandable on its own. The difficulty comes from knowing which layer changes the account and which layer only changes the route through the interface. A bounded example can make this clearer. In the United States, Netflix's current help documentation for direct billed web accounts describes a cancellation route in which the user selects cancel and then reaches a separate finish cancellation action. For eligible accounts, the same cancellation area may also offer pause for 1 month. That creates two different branches. One branch temporarily pauses the subscription. The other continues toward the final cancellation state. The pause option is not available in every situation. Availability can depend on the plan, payment method, and billing arrangement. Partner-billed accounts can follow a different route. The documented example therefore applies only to the specific account conditions described in the United States help flow during this period. The important point is not that Netflix represents every subscription service. It does not. The example is useful because it shows the exact distinction at the center of the mechanism. Selecting cancel begins the exit journey. Pause for 1 month is an optional retention branch. Finish cancellation is the action that completes the cancellation route. Those are 3 different states, even though they appear close together in the same interface. Now imagine the journey as a simple pathway. The first node is cancel selected. From there, the path opens into 2 branches. The upper branch leads to pause for 1 month. That branch preserves the subscription relationship while temporarily changing what happens next. The lower branch continues toward finish cancellation. After that final action, The path reaches cancellation complete. There is also a possible side branch before completion. The user may stop, leave the page, or assume the earlier cancel action was enough. In that case, the journey ends for the user, but not necessarily for the account. This side branch represents delay or abandonment. It is not proof that every user will stop there. It is not a measured cancellation rate. It is the structural possibility created when the intention to cancel and the system state of cancellation are separated by additional decisions. The pathway therefore contains 4 distinct elements. First, the user expresses the decision to leave. Second, the interface presents a retention choice. Third, the user either accepts that choice or continues. Fourth, the system records the final cancellation state. The consumer blind spot lies between the first and fourth elements. The user may not know whether a screen is part of cancellation completion or an optional interruption to that process. This matters because interface language often describes actions, not states. Cancel sounds final. Pause also sounds like a change. Continue sounds temporary. Finish sounds conclusive. But the account outcome depends on which state the system records, not only on how decisive the first button feels. This is why a cancellation save offer flow is different from a simple confirmation screen. A confirmation screen asks the user to verify the same decision. A save offer flow introduces an alternative outcome. The user is no longer only confirming whether to leave. The user is being asked to reconsider the form of the relationship. That change creates the provider's retention opportunity. Subscription management systems document this architecture directly. Cancel save pages can present targeted alternatives, surveys, pauses, discounts, or plan changes before the system completes cancellation. The operational logic is straightforward. If the objection is temporary, a pause may preserve the relationship. If the objection concerns price, a lower-cost option may preserve the relationship. If the objection concerns features or usage, a plan change may preserve the relationship. If none of those alternatives resolves the objection, the cancellation path continues. The structure therefore serves a real business function. It can distinguish a subscriber who no longer wants the service from one who might stay under different conditions. It can also reduce unnecessary account loss when the underlying problem is temporary. But the benefit to the provider and the clarity of the experience are separate questions. A retention option can be useful while still adding another decision. A pause can be valuable while still creating uncertainty about whether cancellation is complete. A plan change can solve a problem while still extending the journey. The system can serve a legitimate retention purpose and still shift additional interpretation and effort to the subscriber. The distinct consequence is not simply frustration. It is that cancellation can be delayed or abandoned before the final state is reached. Delay occurs when the subscriber spends more time evaluating alternatives or navigating back toward the cancellation path. Abandonment occurs when the subscriber leaves the journey before completing the final action. Neither outcome needs to involve deception. The structure itself is enough to create the possibility. A direct path contains one decision and one completion state. A save offer path contains the original decision, one or more alternatives, and a separate completion state. The more those stages resemble each other, the harder it can be to identify where the account actually changes. This is also why the final wording matters. A screen that clearly separates pause membership from continue cancellation makes the branches easier to understand. A final confirmation that clearly states cancellation complete makes the system state visible. When the labels are less distinct, the user has to infer more from the sequence. The mechanism is therefore not merely that there are extra screens, it is that the journey mixes two objectives. The subscriber is trying to complete an exit. The provider is trying to determine whether an alternative can preserve the relationship. Those objectives meet in the same interface. The retention layer sits between intention and completion. That is the trade-off. The structure can resolve temporary objections and preserve useful subscriptions. It can also make the final cancellation state less obvious at the moment the user first chooses to leave. A save offer does not by itself prove obstruction or deception. The number of steps, the clarity of the labels, the available options, and the applicable requirements vary by product and market. Some flows may present one clear alternative and one equally clear continuation button. Others may contain several stages. Some accounts may not receive a save offer at all. The existence of an optional pause or discount is therefore not enough to establish why every interface was designed in a particular way. What the evidence supports is narrower. Cancellation systems can insert retention choices before the final cancellation state. Those choices can serve a documented retention function. And when the user cannot easily distinguish the optional branch from the completion action, the journey can be delayed or abandoned before cancellation is complete. Return to the opening moment. The subscriber selects cancel. At that point, the decision to leave is real. But the account state may not have changed yet. The next screen is not necessarily the end. It may be a junction. One path preserves the subscription through a pause, discount, or plan change. Another path continues toward the final cancellation action. The important distinction is not whether an offer appears. It is whether the user can see where the offer ends and where completed cancellation begins. Selecting cancel can start the exit journey without completing it. The reusable mental model is simple. Cancel selected is an intention, while cancellation complete is a final system state, and an optional retention branch can sit between them.